disgruntled Rafael Devers.
Yeah, he just took to Instagram to post a tearful goodbye, if you will. A nice photo of the duo. Ethan has it. He'll bring it up on Twitch. But we translated what he said, and it says...
Gracias por enseñarme muchas cosas siempre.
Thank you for teaching me many things. I'm always going to admire you as a person and as a baller. The best. You're an example to follow.
Ooh, an example to follow.
Yep.
Out the door.
Yeah, until they give him the money he wants. Then he's like Aaron Judge. Then he's right back there.
They've always shown that they're able to do that. Why has this ownership group allowed Mookie Betts, John Lester, Xander Bogaerts to just walk out the door?
Schwarbaum.
Well, Schwarbaum wasn't homegrown, but yes, Schwarbaum. Still, that will never have an answer because they gave the amount of money he got from the Phillies was well within the budget of the Red Sox to pay him.
Well, it looks like you see the direction that they've been kind of going in for a while, that they're not going to give guys 10-year deals.
They don't have a direction, Wiggy. They change direction every 3 years.
No, they've never given anybody a 10-year deal. Mookie Betts, they weren't giving him 10 years. Nope. You know, when you see with Xander Bogaerts, they didn't want to give him 11 years. So
they didn't sign Lester because they said they're not giving a 30-year-old a long-term extension, and then the next year they gave it to David Price.
Yeah, they missed the ball on that one. I'll agree with you on the Lester one because he didn't even get a long-term deal when he went to Chicago, right? It wasn't like 4 or 5 years.
It was, and he was great. They won a World Series.
So I'll give you the Lester one, but I think with the Mookie Betts one, and it seems like with Xander, they're not willing to go more than 6-7 years.
No, they were willing. They just it was the player. They couldn't imagine Xander Bogaerts being anywhere else. Being with this team as long as you have, can you envision Xander Bogaerts wearing another uniform?
No, I can't.
I can't. Hey, we just had the Earth shot here when bravo to Kate and William. Great job. My Earth shot for the Red Sox. And this is from Johnny Ringo 122 in the Twitch chat. Bring back Theo Epstein. Give him a stake in the team.
Yeah.
President, CEO, in charge of everything. I
mean, can you imagine Theo Epstein, though, wanting to be here?
No, I can't.
Okay.
Well, he might not want him because he might be having his job. But in all sincerity, that is someone that would bring instant credibility back to the direction of this organization. Heim could still do what he's been doing. And you have Theo Epstein in charge, give him whatever, 10%, 20%, who the hell knows. Let him get a stake of the team, and immediately the fan base would have trust in the front office again.
Actually, Sam Kennedy is on the line right now on the Harbor One hotline. Sam, good morning. Can you imagine fans flocking to Fenway next season without Xander Bogaerts?
No, I can't.
Okay.
Jeez.
Right.
Very honest.
He ain't worried about that because fans will be at Fenway Park.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Last year was the lowest attendance they've had in 20 years.
Well, it still looked pretty packed. I went to a couple games, and it looked like it was standing room only.
I know what it looked like is more important than the fact of the attendance.
And the owners don't care.
Yeah.
The owners do not care. They've got the Penguins,
Commanders.
the Commanders soon. Like they do not care. That is the issue. And Curtis and I were pretty on this at the beginning when they bought the Penguins. I think it was Curtis and I. Curtis?
Yeah, I'm right here.
And we were so mad when they did this, and this is exactly why. Because I doubt that John Henry is sitting at home right now, crying about Xander Bogaerts. He doesn't care. He does not care about what fans in Boston think because he has fans everywhere that he can worry about, and they can stroke his ego. He doesn't need Boston fans to.
But he knows Boston's fans will come around.
But he cares from the business perspective.
But do you really think that they look at the Boston Red Sox as a business that's losing money, even if they're not, even if they say they're selling out, but they're not selling out? The Boston Red Sox are still, people are going, they're selling tickets, they're selling merchandise.
Yes, they're not losing. I mean,
is it growing? Are the Boston Red Sox growing?
Yeah. They won a World Series, a couple of years
that's
ago?
Not the question. Their business, is it growing?
Yeah.
It is not.
Because there's more and more Red Sox fans out there.
It is the business, the place in this market when it comes to the fans of all the four major teams. In 2004, they were number one with a bullet, no longer there. Their ratings on TV have been down a couple, versus what they were at the heyday, which they would never be again. But the way that you view the value of something is not based on what you've done; it's what you will.
No,
do.
the way you view the value of something when you're the owner is you look at your bottom line and you go, "Did this business make money for me?" Do you think the Red Sox made money for John Henry?
Well, listen,
I mean, you look at how much money it's going to make.
Do you think that he looks?
Wiggy, you were on this from the start of the show. In fact, it was your lead.
Uh huh.
This deal that San Diego gave Bogarts
Yep.
is in your mind, is a bad business deal.
Yeah. Why would you do that? It's 11 years.
Okay, so in your mind, the Red Sox didn't screw anything up.
No, and I said that. They offered him, based on what we know or what the rumor was out there.
They offered him 6 years, $27 million a year.
Yeah, 6
He
years.
ended up getting 11 and $25 million a year from the Padres.
Right. And so I can understand where he's looking at it and going, all right, one deal is 160 and the other one's 280. That's 120 million. I'm not going to leave that type of money on the table because even if I do get through my 6-year deal, I'll be 36. And Curtis brought this point up, which is a good point. Am I going to be able to get another 120 million? Probably not. You'll get something good, but you're not going to get that. And the Red Sox are saying, we're not going to give him 11 years and now be on the hook for 120 million after 6 years.
Okay, but if you're the Red Sox, does it make sense to be the lone voice in the wilderness that's not doing these long-term deals when everybody else is?
No.
But it depends on who the player is.
And I'm sorry, I keep going back. I understand that's a lot of money, 100 and whatever left on the table. I do think in 6 years he'll be able to get somewhere close to that. And I mean, obviously injury, everybody's worried about that. I get that. But if he liked Boston, if he liked the Red Sox front office, he would have taken that 6 years. He would have.
There's no way you leave
You think
$120 million on the table.
I think he would have, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Curtis. You're not leaving
I do.
120
I think
million.
so.
It's guaranteed. It's not like the
Right.
NFL. It's-
I know. I'm aware.
think could they not have met in the middle and given him 8 years and the 27 million and both sides been okay with that?
If it's accurate that they were not negotiating at all, that they weren't even close until yesterday afternoon, then if I'm Xander Bogaerts, I'm already making up my mind. You're coming to the table now after I've been clear since the last offseason that this is my intention to want to stay, and now all of a sudden I finally get a visit with all you guys. I'd be like, F off, I'm done.
And they're too far apart because even if you gave him 2 more years at 27 million, what is that, 54? So you add 54 to 160? Do the math. What's that number?
200 and
I stink at math.
Let me get the abacus.
200.
214. Right? Now he got 280 versus 214. Where are you going?
Well, if the team that brought you up and gave you your major league debut at 20 years has a competitive offer on the table and you feel respected a year ago, then maybe you stay with the team that gave you your shot at playing Major League Baseball.
It's too much
ask
money, Greg, for you to be like take a hometown discount.
Can I ask a morbid question? And this is a serious question that I don't know the answer to. If a player dies, it's not like that guaranteed money goes to his family, does it?
Well, I think if he's married and got kids, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Seriously, that's a serious question I have.
I don't know.
Because
probably not. You're
when we're
probably
talking
right.
about the lottery,
Yeah, you probably
and you can get more
Right.
money if you take the long-term payout. Don't we all say no? Take the
No.
lump sum. You could die tomorrow.
No, but he probably has like a life insurance policy that.
But I don't care. Take 27 million over 25 million every year.
What are you talking about?
That's what
It
he
was
would have
only-
gotten.
But they want Courtney. They want these deals to extend into when they're 36, 37, 38 years old.
Yeah.
Because they know and that's, by the way, what the market is driving.
But and if he's not, let's say something that's far more likely than a very healthy 30-year-old just drops dead.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Xander blows out his leg in an awful accident and he
Yes.
can't play baseball again. He gets
I get
every
that.
dime of
Right.
the 280.
Yeah.
That's
the
why
most,
you take it.
That's the most important thing. And unless you're where we kind of heard from Lou talk about this, where they offered Mookie Betts $300 million, he ends up going to the Dodgers for $350. Unless you're going, okay, they're only $50 million apart.
Cutting hairs.
Now you're like, all right, maybe he didn't want to be here for whatever reason, or maybe he takes a hometown discount to be here. Like Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge used the leverage of the San Francisco to maximize everything he could from the Yankees. If there was another organization out there that says, listen, we'll give you $400 million, Now we'll see if Aaron Judge is really willing to take that discount at $360.
Well, so you believe he's lying when the reports are that there were organizations that were willing to pay him.
Yeah,
more,
I don't
but he-
believe
but-
that. I don't believe that one bit. I believe he used that number and it was $360, and he used that number.
I mean, Rhode Island, with regard to Bogarts, Rhode Island texter points out that he had already given the Red Sox a hometown discount on the previous deal.
Which is true.
Doesn't this all boil down to the lack of foresight? Like, we saw it with the Patriots and Bill Belichick. Lack of foresight about your offensive coordinators thinking, that didn't work out. Lack of foresight here for Chaim Bloom and the Red Sox. Like, you give this guy a competitive offer a year ago
No,
before
the
this was
foresight-
the market.
The foresight was getting Trevor Story here. That was their plan all along.
That's stupid. It's a dumb plan.
But what if they did this? Let's just go back in time, right? Let's say the Red Sox acquire Trevor Story right after the lockout, and they say, yep, Story's going to play second this year. It doesn't look like Xander and Scott Boras and the organization are going to come to a long-term
We're
agreement.
not on the same page.
We're not on the same page, so we had to do this to be prepared long-term. And then they play the season out. Xander has a rough season. Trevor Story, whatever. He's our shortstop. Like, it's just
Good business move.
they don't need exactly. That is totally. And Wiggy, this is where you and I are on the same team. I get it. I don't think it's going to be a great deal for the Padres in 10 years. I don't. But I just don't care. What I'm talking about is if you have a plan, just stand with it and be somewhat direct with the fan base, and they'll support it.
I think the biggest problem where they dropped the ball more than anything, and we talked about this at the time, is they should have traded Xander. When this team stunk and they were going down in the tank, they should have then traded him. Fans would have been a little bit caught in their feelings, like, oh, I ain't going to trade a guy who's a good locker room piece, blah, blah,
You
blah.
get a lot for
but
him,
you
though.
get something back for him, then maybe fans don't look as bad going, you weren't going to re-sign him in the offseason.
They should do that with Devers now. If they're not going to, if this is going to be the same song and dance a year
Yep.
from now, the winter meetings are ongoing. Everybody in baseball is in one place. You should start getting massive offers for one of the best corner players in the sport.
Yeah, and you should definitely trade him by the deadline, especially if your team is not very good.
I mean, can you imagine this team without Rafael Devers?
No, I cannot.